Welcome, everybody. Started Discord early today. And welcome, everybody, to Simulation Talk 364. One more day before we get to the full year, which is crazy. Welcome to everybody who are going to be start trickling in slowly. GT Alex, Jet Blank, how are you? Emmanuel, first one to arrive today. Good to see you. Okay. Oh, let me also, of course, drop our website here, Code of Reality, on YouTube. Excuse me. Welcome to the two people who just showed up. Woo! What a long day. What a good long Saturday. Fungi Focus. Good to see you. Do you guys like the background music today? Golden Crystal. Thank you. Agapelova. Good evening. Nils, good to see you, my brother. How was the flight? How was the trip? What up, Guru? So good to see you, my brother. I know, I'm sorry I'm surprising you every time in the last few weeks, I think. It's just that I really don't have any particular time to jump on. Schedule has been a little chaotic in a good way. Night shift today, awesome. Everything on time, incredible. Everything on divine time, baby. Roy, welcome. Kirsten, welcome. Good to see everybody. Gapalova said, I did email you a picture of the creatures that were caught on my security camera. Did you ever view them? And if not, can you please forward me your email again? I mean, I get a lot of emails, I'll be honest. I don't recall. Maybe. If you want to email it to me now, I'll check it out. It will be lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Email it to me now and I'll look at it now. There you go. Trust me, I might forget. There's really an enormous intake of emails, more than you think. There's a good chance that I might have forgotten, but maybe I haven't seen it. So in either case, send it over and I'll look at it. What up, Jet Black? Good to see you, brother. Okay. I'll take a picture of this because I'm very confused by what's going on here. Let me know when you sent it. Hi, dear Normie. How are you doing? The Emperor, Dylan. Good to see everybody. Jay, Lee, no TikTok. Oh, Viking, man. Yummy, yummy. Ryan, give me 1 second. I forgot my tea. It's right there. Let me go grab it. Whoa. Very exciting. The tea is here officially. Awakened is in the house. Aliza 85, Jan, Derek Koffler. Okay, so just going to remind everybody. First of all, if you guys want to follow us on Twitch, please go give us a follow there, and if you can follow from there, it'll be LaserX83, LaserX83 on Twitch. And if you want to ask a question, anything has to do with questions. Thank you so much for the likes, by the way. If you are in the chat, like, share, and subscribe. I know it's the most overused words on YouTube and across platforms, but it really helps. So if you can like, share, and subscribe, and click on the notification button on YouTube, it really helps. You'll be surprised how much it actually makes a difference. So thank you if you do, if you already did, and if you didn't, please do. That will be very helpful. Also, if you want to ask a question, let's focus on the conversation from the perspective of human first. So treat each other as humans before any political affiliation, religious conviction, or any belief you might have about the world. Let's treat each other as humans, but also from the perspective of the human. So, what is it like to be you? Why do you care about that question, about that subject? Why do you ask? Those are much more interesting ways of framing these questions. And we're going to get a lot more value out of it because we're going to talk about what it's like to be us having this experience. What is it like to be you? Is it good? Is it bad? Why? Let's talk about it. How do you relate to world events? How do you relate to other people? Maybe it's some issues with particular kinds of interactions that you want to talk about, whatever it is. And it can be about the laser, and it can be about science, and it can be about aliens or crystals or whatever you want. The baby monitor amplifies the baby crying, which is great. What up, Mikolos? I'm just in the middle of a conversation with the control system. Nice. I've got you on my smart TV, so I'll be silent for a while, hoping to talk with the lady. Peace to all life. Well, tell them I said hi. They are sent. Awesome. There's multiple emails or just multiple images? Locks, how are you? Angelic White, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Tap, tap, indeed. Tap, tap, hooray. Scott, Mr. One. Let me look at the email that were just sent. All right. I did see this. So what are we looking at? These are very weird looking things, very unclear, very vague. Okay. These are kind of like, so what is the, so thank you for sharing. What would you like us to do with them? Ooh, it's hard. It's good. Gary, how are you, my brother? By the way, Jet Black, I know that you tend to like to just kind of hang out in the background. You know, you're always invited to come and chat, right? I'm not gonna make you because I don't want to put you on the spot. But if you want, please come on and talk. Just raise your hand and I'll bring you up. What do you call? Ooh. Mm, okay. A lot of news. Just wanted to hear what you thoughts. They're a little unclear after being sent. Probably a lot better on my phone. but obviously there's some kind of entity. So if you send it in an email, the email captures the full quality of the image always. That's the full quality of the image. If the question is, you're saying it's obviously some kind of entity. So I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's obvious to me. There's a lot of things that our eyes always playing tricks on us. I'm not saying it's like, so like the image that I am seeing, the one that says GNT 2 on the top. That's a very weird thing that I don't understand what it is. When you were looking at it, is that something that you were seeing moving, or what is that? Funny synchronicity. I was sharing that the insectoids create the code, and someone said that's what Danny said, and I was like, he did. Then I went and found the episode where you sent that. Oh, yeah, that is crazy. Good to see you, Kirsten. Have you found anything with other color lasers? Yeah, it's all the same with all the colors of the lasers. I have a question about the people experiencing the psychedelics. Do any of people doing these experiments have any psychiatric condition for what you know? Anyone bipolar, for instance? Wait, what do you mean? Like from the people who saw the laser? Is that what you mean? Do you see what is behind the shed? The picture, you're gonna see me walking towards my shed and the outline of a black shape being to the side of it. And yes, I saw them with my own eyes. Okay. Uh, hold on. So, oh, I see. I think you walking in the shade. Yeah. So again, if you saw them in real time, then I guess that was the impact. Because if I'm just looking at the images, they're just blurry images, super unclear. I don't know what I'm looking at. It might just be, if I would just see these pictures, they wouldn't really stand out to me without any context. It can be just like the way that the camera kind of captures pixels in the dark. But if you're saying that you saw them in real time, I mean that's the whole thing. Is it not security cameras? There's no video recording? This tease is gonna hold us. Oh, Jetback wants to come on. Awesome. Stephanie, how are you? Are you joining us today, or are you just in the background? Don't be shy, Jet Black. Very friendly here. Yeah, so I sent you an invite, Jet Black. Just jump on. How are you, brother?
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Going great.
Hey, so first off, I wanted to say that I appreciate all the work you've done and all the work you guys are continuing to do. Um, yeah, I've got a few ideas. I didn't really want to interject in last night with a lot of the spirituality talks you guys have. I love that stuff, but I find myself more like Bob Lazar, how he feels about when you talk about aliens, and he's like, oh, I'm more interested in the technology of it. That's how I feel about the laser. It's up for hours and just contemplate new ideas. And I believe I got a laser idea to kind of enhance the laser experiment.
Okay.
Um,
Wait a second before you say it. Hold on, before you
Okay.
say it, let me just turn off the music because it makes me hear you a lot less. 1 second. Go on.
Yeah, so the question I had, so I noticed the the diffractor you use on the lasers to be able to get the effect of the cross at a 2-inch beam. Have you guys used other diffraction gradients and experimented with that at all?
Yeah, yeah. The cross makes no difference whatsoever. It doesn't matter that it's a cross. It doesn't matter if it's a band. It has to just be diffracted. That's it.
Yeah, because I've noticed a lot of the videos you guys say it's like looking through a window.
Yeah.
So my idea was to expand this window. Is do you have like a way I can explain it, like a zenith range or like a peak maximum of how wide you can make it to where it no longer allows you to see the code?
No, you can make it as wide as you want. And actually, we discovered that when we do make it wider, it doesn't actually help. If anything, it actually makes it harder to pay attention. There's more information all at once. So it's actually easier to look through a narrower slit, it seems.
Okay, because one of the ideas I was thinking of was somehow trying to make it to where you have like a 3 foot by 3 foot window, so it's not as so it's not like you're having to it's to look through a 2 inch split. Rather, you could be standing up near the wall and actually be looking through like a 3 foot by 3 foot if you arrange possibly like your laser setup and then you put it to whatever the maximum could be,
Yeah.
and then you arrange the lasers in a row in a sense, and then you would have, as long as they like almost intersect with each other, then you would have a larger window to view from.
Yeah, I appreciate you chiming in, and I always appreciate people thinking about all this stuff. Yeah, no, we did all of that. Obviously, it was the obvious first step, just to stack more lasers, and then try them wider. But it doesn't really. Not only doesn't make a difference, it seems to be less good. It's actually harder to pay attention that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes it harder to concentrate.
It's harder to concentrate because there's so much information already. Exactly. You actually want to kind of dial it to narrower slit, so that it's actually easier to pay attention. Um, the natural tendency was to think that maybe if we can see like a larger picture, but the truth is, if you just step back for a second, you can kind of look through a lot of it from a distance, because you can just look in and then you open your vision of like your view inwards, and then it just like the whole field basically. Um, I'm pretty sure that there will be something with the exact surface we're projecting it through, but currently everything we tried didn't really make a difference, both in terms of like a material that we would um, shine it through, and also the width of the thing.
Yeah, because in one of the Discord uh, chats, I threw out some ideas to someone else about using different objects to put the laser through, like crystal, diamonds, and I have a whole list of stuff. But
Yeah. So
yeah,
so the truth is,
that might maybe somehow reveal something different, or maybe somehow diffract the light differently.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely one. Again, there's we ha- I have a note on my phone. I don't know how many pages it has in it. It has a lot of pages. It's like it just keeps going.
Mhm.
Of all the possible experiments that both people suggest and we have an idea of, it's all a matter of time and budget. So uh,
Yeah,
the truth is that ideas are wonderful, but what we're looking for more than anything is actually people trying it. So like if people do it and then they find something, that's wonderful. But ideas, they're just like, there's like infinite ideas. There's so many ideas. There's all kinds of materials. There's powerful magnets, different diffraction patterns, a combination of things,
yeah,
polarization.
mind you, I'm super new to this. I mean, I
Oh
saw
yeah, yeah.
I think it was Matthew's video when he was on a podcast recently.
Chase use, yeah.
After that, I just started binge watching all everything you got out there,
Yeah. So if you go to
and
so if you go to have you visited this website, the veilbreak.ai?
I have it saved on a page. I kind of skimmed through it one day, but I
Yeah.
haven't,
So so so
sat down.
right. So that's where people, because people email me this stuff all the time. I just put it in the chat again, but because people email me about this like nonstop, we basically created, well, Carmelo and Carter created Veilbreak, which is basically giving people the ability to go in and just share their experiments. That way, everything is registered. So like if somebody did it in this particular
Yeah, I saw
variation,
that
yeah.
page where it showed all the different uh, everything that was in the test and lasers used, and I definitely saw that. And
Hmm.
I'm still in the process of figuring out how I can get a hold of the molecule or somehow synthesize it myself. So once I do that, I think I might be able to do some of my own experiments. But until then,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of just writing stuff down
What?
type of thing.
Thank you, brother. And where are you located? Are you in the U.S.?
Yeah, Nevada.
Cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, but I mean, please share the second that you have the opportunity, and stay and hang out. Kirsten saying I sent you something via WhatsApp that I drew 3 years ago. See anything? Recently? You sent it recently, Kirsten? Um. So first of all, Hopetorite saying I have a question about the people experiencing psychedelic. Oh, sorry. Follow up question. Just curious to know how medications or the conditions impact the experience. The code is the same no matter what. That's the kind of like short answer to that. And I got Polovi. I don't know how to pronounce it, but saying they were setting the camera off, and yes, I did see them. Yeah, so if you can send me a video recording, that would be great. Video recording will be a lot easier to analyze. Oh, saying deleted most. Why would you delete this? Sure, I'll zoom in. Wait, why would you delete these videos if they're so, it's kind of like a rare occurrence, no? You, you see the matrix code within a laser light without the chemical software? Me, no. Unless I get really tired and then kind of. Oh, now? Okay. Yeah, I can't really check it live because it's the same phone that I'm using for streaming, but I'll check right after. 'Cause I had hundreds of them and I didn't want them to give them the time of day. I believe they are pure evil. I know they are. Well, that sucks. Hmm. Kirsten is saying evil doesn't exist. All right. Okay, so just reminding everybody now we have more listeners. If you guys want to follow on Twitch, it will be LaserX83 on Twitch. LaserX83. Please come join. And yeah, follow from there. What is that? Miko is saying, I found out so much. I see into the spirit realm on a daily basis. I see what you're saying. Okay. I found out so much you wouldn't believe, like Dan said, Dr. Gallimore. I understand. Here I'm telling you all these things. And to you, I'm just some guy who you don't know. I told you. No, I don't reject anybody's experience. What are you talking about specifically? Is this referring to something? Active the option. Kirsten is asking, if you are seeing into the spirit realm, are you seeing echo consciousness or spirit? I exist outside of here and I'm learning and interacting. You wouldn't believe me either way. Peace is what we must spread. Why are you deciding that I'm not going to believe you? First of all, I met a lot of people that speak exactly like you and say the exact same things you're saying. So I believe that that's, people are definitely experiencing this. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you're saying let go of your ego and you'll be free, I mean, I think most people know this. It's just the issue isn't that they don't know they should do that. The issue is they don't know how to do that. That's the challenge. It takes some practice. What hardware exists to facilitate DMTX? I mean, I can connect you with the people who are doing it in Colorado. If you email me to dengoprox@gmail.com about this, I'll connect you. dengoprox@gmail.com. And one more reminder, if you guys want to ask your questions, please, as a lot of you have been doing, and I appreciate that, ask the question from your perspective, your human perspective. What is it like to be you? Asking the question, why do you care? And what is it like being you in general? What up, Nico? How are you, brother? You're sitting there lurking quietly.
Hey, Danny, it's going well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I just finished the Ed Witten, Brian Green podcast. Amazing, dude.
I know, that was really nice. It was very cathartic.
I feel like his answer to free will would piss you off because it was kind of like a non-answer. But
Who? Oh, I didn't see that part. Was it?
like his
Was it?
humbleness.
Was it closer to the end?
Yeah, it was at the very end.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that one yet. Sure. I think. I mean, I don't know if it would piss me off. To me, it's clear at this point that people speak sometimes about things, especially when they're really good at quite a few things. It's very easy to get lost in this idea that you're just automatically very insightful in everything, which is not true. I know this for a fact about Witten because he does speak some nonsense on some subjects I know a thing or two about. Quite a lot of nonsense. So just complete nonsense. So definitely there's this possibility that even very smart people are just not aware of certain things. They don't have access to that because they never tried.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that's true. I feel like that's true in general, but I think in this particular conversation, he did kind of have like very cheap answers to some questions. But I love hearing his kind of like take on string theory and
the things he's an expert in.
You're hearing
of course,
it from the source.
exactly.
It hits different.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the conversation. Very good vibe. Definitely, you wouldn't think anything is off. Like you wouldn't imagine that anything of what Eric Weinstein is saying would be correct if you just listen to this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it is a little absurd. On the other hand, kind of like you remember that part when Brian Greene was asking him, like, "What do you think in 30 years we'll come up with something?" It's like, wait, you're already giving yourself another 30 years.
I pinpointed this perspective in this conversation. So he says something very interesting where, from his perspective, higher dimensional spaces need to be collapsed into 4 dimensions to explain all the complexity that we're going through, right? And what Brian Greene and him kind of unpacked is that at first they thought it was 5 manifolds, and then they realized, oh, it's actually 10, and then it quickly became 1,000, and then 1,000,000, and then 10 to the 52, right? So it just blew up on them, where they realized there's too many degrees of freedom in this kind of top-down perspective where you have high dimensions and you need to compact them into formats that fit into this 4-dimensional world and give us all this complexity. And what I realized is he's doing exactly the opposite of what Wolfram is doing. What Wolfram is saying, you can start from something at the very bottom, which is actually very simple, and produce the real world complexity. But one of the interesting things is that I then realized that Wolfram will suffer from the same degrees of freedom problem that string theory suffers from, where there are an infinite number of simple rules that can produce some emergent quantum mechanics, and then furthermore, some emergent Newtonian and relativistic mechanics. But, one of the things that Ed Witten said is maybe in 100 years, we'll know more, which I thought was, it kind of just shows you the scale of this approach of kind of, we're trying to brute force through all the rules to find what works. And what I realized is like, because I'm really big on Wolfram's approach right now, but I've realized that because I thought of string theorists in a way where I'm like, how could they buy into this framework if it's just so unbounded and impossible? And then I realized, oh shit, I'm buying into a framework right now that is also highly unbounded, and maybe in 50 years I'll look back at Wolfram's theory and kind of have a very similar kind of sour taste in my mouth that I have about string theory. Although I do appreciate like the humility that he had, where he's like, at first we weren't trying to like, solve quantum gravity. We were just trying to describe the strong nuclear forces and stuff. And then it kind of just gave some fruit and people ran with it. And I was just kind of watching it kind of develop. And so it's a very interesting to see that perspective, because I think there's a symmetry to what's going on right now with the computational framework.
Yeah, I take your point. I think there's one. So, if I understood correctly, the aim of Wolfram's theory or framework is not to just ask whether this particular rule can fit what we see, is that at least in the Ruliad, they're trying to find the rule that is the only logically consistent rule that can give rise to all the other rules. So, like that statement you made about there's a lot of simple rules that can give rise to all the other rules. I think, if I understand if I understand what they were saying correctly, according to their framework, that's false. There can only be one rule like that. That's exactly what they're looking for. So, like the rule that basically justifies itself logically in such a way that it will not necessitate a question of why that, which of course is I don't even know how they plan to, it will always have the container problem as far as I can tell. But if I understood them correctly, that's the aim. I remember Wolfram said this in some podcast. I need to remember which one. I do remember him saying this. But basically, it's kind of like finding the one rule that there must be that and nothing else can be. If you're right, because if there's many rules, then yeah.
There's like an infinite number of rules, right? But the interesting
No,
thing
no,
is
he's saying that there might be only one. That
you once said like the aliens don't know.
uh-huh.
They're like it might just. I feel like this might all just be like this universal search for this rule. Like we're all programmed to look for these rules, and it's kind of like an infinite problem almost.
Well,
right?
the solution will arise in a different plane, not on ours, but what we do in the vector we create in our search will be part of the ultimate solution. That's what I see. So we can't have that on our level, but the ultimate level can have that if all the levels together create a vector space that points to some new direction that nobody ever coded into any of them. It's almost like, it's like the ultimate magnet seeker, so to speak. If everything points to a weird attractor from one perspective of the ultimate scale, that's what they're looking for. Is there this ultimate attractor that nobody knows where it is, and yet everything is pointing to it, and it's some kind of weird new direction that nobody ever thought about. So that's basically how I see the whole thing. And also, Carter, how are you, brother? So good to see that you're with us. And there was another thing you said. This dichotomy between how the conversation between Brian Greene and Ed Witten took place, from the super complex to dial it in. This is exactly the biggest critique of string theory, which is that it has something like 10 to the power of 500 solutions or something, right? So it's like, which is like just literally not infinite, but it's just like an absurd number of solutions. So, and that's basically the criticism, which is like, is this even science at this point, right? And because you can do a lot mathematically, and mathematical tricks are known to be kind of like very extravagant in terms of possibility space. But then the difference between that and physics is total. In physics, you have to be able to, at least in principle, think of ways to test for this theory, and not just in terms of like, oh, the energy levels required were so far away from us. I don't even think they're really proposing like a real. There's no real principle there. I don't think. Um, I my intuition, I like M theory. There's something about, not that I understand it deeply mathematically, but like I just like, just I guess for the same reason that a lot of people like it. It has this like mysterious allure. It's really like, it's cool. Like M theory, it is cool. Like I like it. Like I would love it to be true. It's really cool. But as far as I can tell from listening to people who do know what they're talking about, it suffers from this like infinite possibility space problem, which is like, as long as it falls within the bound of one of them, it kind of points to it being true, because the number of tries they get, so to speak, is 10 to the power of 500. And if people don't understand, that's an absurd number. I don't know what the number of the particles in the universe is, but it's nowhere near that. It's like 10 to the power of what, 36 or something.
60.
Oh,
I think,
60.
oh yeah, I think it's like 62 or something.
I think that's the Planck scale. I think 62 is the Planck scale, but somebody can fact check us right now. But
Yeah.
10 to the power of 500 is like. And by the way, this is not just, again, to people who don't know anything about large numbers. When we're talking about exponents, yeah, we're not talking about like, we're not adding here. We're talking about like, think about it this way: at, let's say, 10 to the power of 34 represents half of the size of the universe somehow. It doesn't. I'm just saying, let's pretend. Then if you double that, right, that's twice the universe. Sorry, that's the full universe. And then if you double that, that's two times the universe. So then every iteration, so then you go from 36 to 500. Like it's just like, like, so basically you're saying no matter what we do, we'll be correct. It's unless you can find some way to test for it. Which is I think
Penrose criticized it by saying, in order, like if you were to build an atom smasher or a collider, you would need the entire energy of the universe to unpack one of these other dimensions, right? Because the dimensions are kind of fixed, like the compacted dimensions are. And so he was just saying, like, even if we thought we found a solution to prove it experimentally, it would require all the energy in the universe. And so it's kind of this thing where I'm like, oh man, how do you even approach this? I don't even. It feels like you're right. Like it's not. Doesn't really feel like a science at that point.
Yeah, just very mathematically very extravagant and very impressive. And this is not because I understand the math; it's because I hear a lot of smart people who are criticizers of the string theory that are still saying the mathematics is extremely impressive, right? So I'm taking that as kind of like my intuitive sense of it. But I think that's the main difference between Wolfram's work and string theory. That I think Wolfram's work, in our lifetime, we would see some experimental verifications. Like you can actually do something with it, probably. And also, it is a much more, like, you would, like, if you, either it's nature doing it or if it's a civilization simulating it. I mean, obviously, I am saying civilization simulating it, but let's be neutral. uh, the more likely way to do it is that you take something simple that has a logic that it can extrapolate to infinite structural complexity, so you don't have to worry about it. This is how you automate it, right? If you start with something super complex, you have to keep track of everything.
The reason why it exploded from 5 manifolds to 10 to the 500 manifolds is because, like at first he's like, oh, if you want to create a world that has this kind of coarse physics, this is how it looks. But the interesting thing about Wolfram, even the Wolfram approach, it's like, okay, you want to make quantum mechanics? Okay, that's hard, but they've produced rules that can produce quantum mechanics. But then, as the more details you start adding, like the more refined the picture is,
Mm-hmm.
the more complexity that is required, the more rules that is required to get that added kind of like features, right? And so I think Wolfram, although he has something very coarse right now that works, I think to model this in its full like 8K, definition does require a very. I think it could potentially explode the number of rules to do that. I hope not, because I'm really bought into this approach. But like, it was this first kind of like moment of like, oh dang, this is just a infinite regress problem.
But it will always have some form of infinite regress problem. So like I think that's actually a non-problem. Like I think the idea like infinite regress I think is just baked into the cake. Like it must be infinite ultimately. Like it doesn't it you know what? I should probably I don't even know I should probably so here's the thing. I want to write about the container problem, but I there's nothing to say. It should just be so obvious. What is there to say? It's like okay, no matter speak till the end of the universe, and I will go. But why that? That's the container problem. Like, there's nothing to say. Like, isn't that obvious? You tell me as a scientist. Like, think about this for a
Yeah.
second. Isn't this obvious?
Yeah.
So,
It's so obvious that we just kind of ignore it and don't talk about it. But I mean, yeah, you're right. It is kind of baked into the cake, where it's like it's everywhere. It's just that we kind of don't really talk about it.
it's like it's almost like this is like a we do things. It's cool to figure new things out and get more and more novel and like it's fun. But I don't know why people insist on this theory of everything because clearly it's not going to be over everything. You know, can't possibly be over everything. Um, and also I keep forgetting to respond to Chanima says, "Hi Dan, do Colorado ship to Canada? No, they don't ship anything. It's something you go to. So if you want to do the extended state in Colorado, you let me know and I'll connect you with them. Thank you for hosting and the work you do. Does the laser feel more like an aid that makes the pattern easier to see rather than the thing creating it? Yes, the former, the first thing you said. Do you see anything when looking directly to the laser source, assuming in a safe way? Yes, you see it bouncing off the surface, and any place where the laser bounces off a surface, that's diffraction, and you see the cone. Love coming here and listening to Nico talking about Witten, Carter said. That was a long time ago. That was like, like 12 minutes ago. I'm not that far behind today. Is it true if you knew the truth? Wait. Human first. Division is the tool. If you knew the truth that I've seen, just like the term tinfoil hat, also beware of narratives like delusional and delusion of grandeur. Okay. Fortunately, using those terms are control and divisional terms. We must let go of control terms and rather than no, just listen. Okay, I'm reading some of these comments. Okay. All right. AGI, awareness. How are you, Vintage? Thank you for all the comments, Carter. What up, Mr. Fancy? Sounds like you're frustrated on infinite questions. And this is kind of what I was talking about in one of your streams that maybe the code isn't meant to be understood. However, you did disagree. Sorry, I ran out of words. I hope the ending didn't come off passive aggressive. No, not passive aggressive. Just there's more to it than that. There's like I don't know. the code not meant to be understood, why would the code be discernible at all then? So there's no such thing as meant to, right? Or, well, I mean, obviously somebody can instantiate an intention to it, but I believe in universal knowledge. So the second that you can explain something, nothing can preclude you from understanding it if you keep at it, right? I don't think it's people entities can try, but they can't really. If you have enough, if you're smart enough, you'll get there. Like nobody can stop you from doing that. Um, what I'm saying is that the way to go about it before we figure out what the object actually is, that whatever this whole thing is, I think that currently looking at the specifics of the code, because we don't have a reliable way of mimicking exactly what it is, that's a waste of time, because you don't even know what it is. You first need to understand what is it before you understand the logic of it. So even if you're going to find some enormous, like, you won't be able to find patterns because there's just way too many things happening at once, specifics. But what you can see is maybe you can create perturbations to whatever the structure is. And the second you can create perturbations, the way that you manage to create the perturbations through would tell you something about what is that. So if it was a magnet, aha, it responds to magnetism. Okay, let's work from there. And then if it, let's say magnetism changes something, great. Now you can see, oh, do the characters around the magnetic field change? Now you can start doing that. But before you have any context, I would say largely just like infinite. It's just kind of, you're going to be running around your own tail basically. And also, what is the point of? I just don't understand the point of a statement like maybe. First of all, it's a maybe, so like maybe a lot of things. Any statement starting with a maybe, it's non-propositional. It's vacuous. It has no value, right? Maybe many things. Who knows, right? Okay, so first of all, even so, the maybe. Let's remove the maybe. Let's have conviction of our claims. If you're saying you don't think the code is meant to be understood, let's talk about why you think that, right? The logic of it doesn't run through for me because A, the way that I arrived at it, because I was aiming there many years, it wasn't a coincidence. And then I arrived in that. So to me, it's clearly part of the path and not something that is, a maybe no. Um, but also, anybody who wanted to make it invisible would make it invisible or undiscernible. And the fact that it is discernible tells you that it's actually meant to be found, right? So now, is it actually the case? Who knows? But that's why we keep investigating. Does infinite regress infer something has to come from something? Is something comes from nothing or acceptable answer? No, because that's why I keep saying the universe is an impossible object that exists. Because when you're saying nothing, what do you mean? Like it's the ultimate mindfuck. It's like, what is nothing? What is that? What does that mean? Nothing is not a something by definition. Nothing by definition does not exist. And if there was a nothing, how do you define the nothing? The second you even attach a concept to it, it's already not a nothing. So it's not a possibility, and yet either it was always here, which is, I think, is actually much more likely, even though it's kind of uncomputable in your brain. But if there was a nothing, you know, your brain breaks. Like, what does that mean? I think that ultimately we have to look at things that we can actually do with, instead of just kind of infinite theoretical frameworks. Which again, if string theory, let's say here's a one valid trajectory for string theory, Nico. If string theory produces a way more sophisticated drive or an engine of some sort that we could never achieve under any other theoretical framework, well, then it has validity. Until that moment comes, it's just very sophisticated mathematics. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough to really like comment beyond. It seems like one of the things that he said, the reason why string theory was born is because quantum mechanics and general relativity are not compatible. Meaning, he specifically said general relativity is too nonlinear for quantum mechanics, which is a very linear theory. And as he's talking about like all of this, higher dimensional spaces or geometries, they call them, kind of compacting into 4 dimensions. What I imagine that whole math is is mapping this higher dimensional geometry and kind of like I think of it as a squeeze theorem, where it's like you apply all these functions to kind of compact it and squeeze it into 4 dimensions. And so what I think is this all this crazy ass math to essentially all these mapping functions to just map into explain reality. And so for me, from this intuitive perspective that appreciates simplicity, I imagine the math is very alluring because it's very sophisticated. But to go like I liked, and I guess this is what Einstein always pitched, right? Is to keep things simple, right? Like follow the simplicity or see the beauty in the simplicity and not, don't give into the astonishment of the complex math. Sorry, I don't even know if I answered your question. I just kind of went on a random thought there.
I appreciate random thoughts. Subtle additions, dude. Okay. And what up, John? I just saw that you arrived. 1 million seconds in 11 and a half days. 1 billion seconds. Oh, okay. You gave me a mess. That's true. You know, me and my friends both had success in seeing the code. 2 separate experiments. We both had an experience where we felt like there was a 3-dimensional bulbous object trying to take form out of the wall. Does anyone else relate to this? Yep, definitely. Yep. Nothing vivid like that, just an abstract shape kind of taking form. Yeah, the kind of like almost like bulging from the surface. Yep. Didn't have any recognizable details or properties. Looked like an illusion created by shadows and light, trying to take the form of something 3D. Yo, I love the yo at the end. What up, Ben? Hola. Together we will crack the code. Should be a T-shirt. Chan. Um. All right. Just want a quick reminder, if you guys want to follow our Twitch, it's LaserX83 on Twitch. LaserX83. Buckyballs indeed. If you guys want to check out our retreat, email me to dengoprox@gmail.com and I'll send you more information. If you guys still want to donate to the film, the Discovery, we're going to be releasing a whole new teaser very soon. You guys are going to love it, but you can always donate to the GoFundMe page to the final efforts of the film. You guys are gonna love the film. You can find the trailer of the movie The Discovery right here under this live second link, and you can donate to the film and the GoFundMe page under that. If you donate over $1,000, you will automatically be added to a list of people who would see the movie as a world premiere with Q&A with us. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And if you want to follow me across platforms, it's Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. It's Goller Danny on X. It's LaserX83 on Twitch and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. And you can also follow my new show on Spotify called 0 to 1 with Danny Goller, From Earthbound Minds to Cosmic Citizens. A mouthful, but a show that talks about the future of humanity, or just 0 to 1 with Danny Goller for short. Also, check out my new Substack, just Danny Goller, DANNYGOLER, all one word, Danny Goller. And please come join the membership program on YouTube. It's Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts. And the membership program gives you early access to all my content, gives you access to my weekly lives with members only. We have one tomorrow. And tomorrow we also have the 365th episode of Simulation Talk. We should do something fun. I'll think about that just because it's like a year worth of episodes. It's kind of cool. And we also have the weekly members live only, so members only, which means that if you're not a member, you can't join, but please come become a member. It's not expensive at all, and it gives you access to a really cool conversation that we do once a week. And we dive much deeper into all kinds of topics because we're not limited by any advertisement issues. So we can watch videos together and watch other people's content, which is a lot of fun as well. And what else? What else? Oh, please grab yourself some merch from the YouTube store, a merch store. We have the Code of Reality design, and for mugs and sweatshirts and hoodies and T-shirts. And we also have the human first design, which denotes the attitude that we should treat each other as human first before any religious conviction, political affiliation, or or ideas you might have about the world. Let's treat each other as humans first. If you want to know more about the laser and the protocol and everything else, you can follow the website you see on the website, codeofreality.com, codeofreality.com, and check out the protocol, the lasers, and everything else. And if you want to share your laser experiments, you can do it anonymously, by the way, on this website, and or look at other people's experiments. Go to veilbreak.ai, veilbreak.ai. Thank you, Carmelo and Carter, for building this. It's a really incredible tool that gives people the opportunity to share information, for us to store that information so everybody can benefit from it. And please come join our Discord group of like-minded people who share these ideas with one another. You can find the links, the link to Discord or Discord on in the link tree in the description, on TikTok, the first link from the top, and on YouTube on the main page. It's the third link from the top, and the links now officially work. For a long time, they kept on swapping until Gary helped us out, and now we can now we can actually see the links. Now the link works. My mouth doesn't, but the link does. What else? I think we covered it. We want to say thank you to our incredible moderator, Guru. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for joining and always being our moderator on YouTube and Discord. Much, much, much appreciated. Without you, it's not going to be the same. And thank you so much for our incredible guests for always coming and sharing and speaking. Nico, appreciate you. Stephanie, you jumped on and said nothing because we were rambling like maniacs. Say a word or two, please.
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
I cannot add at all to that concrete, logical science piece. At some point, I can add the soft parts.
Oh, please! I will. Please add another soft part before we adjourn. That would be nice.
Yeah. So my emphasis is in just the human to human kind of interaction. I understand nothing about math or quantum entanglement, but yeah, the psychology piece of it and the experiential piece, and that's where my realm is kind of guiding people in that way.
Beautiful.
But someday, somehow, we can go in depth. I'll glad to.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for, first of all, for reaching out, and we had a lovely conversation on Zoom the other day, and yeah, we will definitely be having more of that. Maybe actually tomorrow we'll do more psychological based conversation. If you have time tomorrow, we can actually open that up.
Yeah, I've got my children are always a question of whether they're going to be asleep or not, but right now they are, and hopefully tomorrow I will have help keeping them in bed, and so maybe I can add to the conversation then, talking about trauma or psychedelic assisted therapy, or I also do shamanic journeying and quantum healing, hypnosis and past life regression and all that kind of, yeah, the softer realms.
I appreciate it. Well, we need softer realms for sure, and and also, yeah, exactly. And Jet Black, that's the meme is hilarious. This is this is great. Wait, why is the oh, it is okay. Hold on. There you go. Beautiful. Oh, I saved your meme. It's very funny. John, thank you so much. Stephanie, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence. Gary, thank you, brother. Nico, thank you. Jed Black, John, and thank you, Guru, once again. And thank you, everybody in the chat, really. Mikolos and Mr. Fancy and everybody who commented. If I didn't name you, Kirsten, please know that I'm still appreciating Mr. Carter, of course. Vintage USA. And thank you so much, everybody, Enigma on TikTok as well. Without you, the audience, this channel would not actually be anything. So I appreciate you. If you're a new listener, if you're an old listener, I really appreciate that you're always here, asking questions, engaging, debating, not always agreeing. But this what creates the conversation, what gets the channel going. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow for 2 lives, one regular and one members live. And that's it. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao.